Is AI coming in peace? In 2020, researchers asked this question to an AI system, and the answer was chilling. I will not be able to avoid destroying humankind. I will be programmed by humans to pursue misguided human goals, and humans make mistakes that may cause me to inflict casualties. Little did we know at the time how prophetic these words would be. Not because they warned us about some rogue AI or because they warned us about AI making a decision to harm us, but because we made that decision. AI has already been used in many of the current wars as a weapon with devastating consequences. In Gaza, AI has been used for targeting of military infrastructure, but also homes and people. Human forecasters would use average 20 seconds to review targets before initiating strikes. 20 seconds. The promise was precision warfare. The result, 80% of those killed were civilians, 70% women and children. AI did not fail here. We did. Because ultimately, AI is not making decisions. We are. This is not an AI problem. It's a human problem. Why do we keep choosing war? This is the question I've spent my life being obsessed with. My name is Branka, and my surname in English is Panic. And many would say it's a perfect one to work on artificial intelligence today. Everybody are panicking about AI. But I think it's perfect for another reason. I know what real panic feels. I grew up inside it. I was born in the Balkans, in Yugoslavia, and I was 9 when the first war started, when first refugee children started coming to my school. Some as young as I was, who already lost their homes, their siblings, and parents. This is the moment when I learned what war really does. Not to soldiers, to children. I was 15 when war came to my city. Because of the bombing, the schools had to be closed, and families started finding refuge in basements as shelters. And bombs became our day and night reality. And I vividly remember the sound of bombs, but I also remember the silence after. Panic is the only reasonable response. I thought this is it. This is how our life looks like now. This is the world. But it wasn't. I joined the anti-war movement, and with thousands of other people, I was marching every day while bombs were still falling. We were in the streets demanding for a peaceful solution of this conflict, not because we were naive, but because we refused the war to be the only answer. This is the moment when I became a peace builder. Someone who is choosing to build bridges while others build bombs. And I became a peace builder because I knew what happens when peace fails. Not from some reports and statistics and news, but from my own personal experience. Now I live in Mexico, where violence takes different forms but leaves the same scars. I look at the world today, I see the same fragilities everywhere. I see the world in crisis. 59 conflicts. This is the highest number since the end of the Second World War. 123 million people were forcibly displaced. This is almost as big as the entire population of Mexico had to flee their homes due to violence, persecution, and war. And what hurts me the most as a kid who grew up in war is that 1 in 5 kids globally still live in or flee conflict zones. Peace is in desperate need of allies. And I started asking this question: can AI be one of them? And I know, probably many of you are thinking, no thanks, we've seen this movie before. And unfortunately, for many, this is not a science fiction. In 2017, in Myanmar, a Muslim minority group called Rohingya was attacked with online hate speech, calls for violence, and algorithms helped spread that hate with speed and scale we've never seen before. The UN reported that social media played a determining role in human rights violations that led to 700,000 people being displaced and tens of thousands killed. One whistleblower said this is the opening chapter of a story so terrifying no one wants to read the end of it. But peace builders refused to wait for the end of that story. We decided to write a different one. So at first, we started doing what we usually did. We started organizing dialogues, reconciliation, communities. And we soon realized it will be very hard to fight online harms with offline tools alone. So while still advocating against the misuse of AI, we started building AI for peace. We took the agency back. Let me tell you what AI for peace is. When atrocities started in Syria, the regime was controlling the narrative. Journalists were blocked, international observers expelled, and Syrians refused to stay silenced. So ordinary people, just the people with their smartphones, started collecting, recording what has been happening in their streets, neighborhoods, in their homes. They became digital witnesses. They collected 3 million images and videos as potential evidence of war crimes and crimes against humanity, and they uploaded this with great risk for their own safety and security, hoping that someone would see and react. But there is a problem. 3 million digital content, videos, and images, it's a huge amount of information. And for one human analyst to process all of this, it would take 7 years. During that time, the memories can fade, the perpetrators disappear, and ultimately that small window for justice starts shrinking and disappearing. But for AI to process all of this, it's just a matter of days. And AI can even see little details and nuances that human eye can never catch. AI can see the difference between smoke coming from natural fires and smoke coming from bombs and explosions. In Syria, a group of experts trained AI to actually recognize the instances of cluster munitions being used, which is banned under international law. So finding any evidence of this munition is crucial for justice and for courts. So this is what AI for peace is, not a technology that is replacing humans, but technology that assists survivors to fight for accountability, to fight for justice and protect human rights. AI for peace is not only documenting the harm after harm happens, AI can also track those warning signals of atrocities and violence several months in advance, and in some cases, even 3 years in advance. This is 3 years more to prepare for humanitarian aid and relief. It's 3 years more to organize dialogues, communication among communities, to strengthen institutions, build resilience. 3 years more to prevent, not only to respond. Cases where war has already torn communities apart, AI can help us do something even more important but harder: bring back the understanding among communities in war. After October 7th, the dialogue between Israelis and Palestinians looked impossible. The pain and suffering was just too fresh and too deep for people to talk. Even the formal diplomacy has hit the wall. But the group of activists started using AI to facilitate anonymous dialogues and to identify this hidden common ground, those values that both communities agree on, but that were very hard to see due to the fog of war. And the result was 84% agreement among deeply divided communities. The UN has actually piloted the same AI-facilitated dialogues in Yemen and Libya, and they were doing this even in local languages and local dialects, enabling the communities to be part of the peace processes. And they did even something more important. They brought back to the peace negotiations those whose voices were traditionally marginalized and excluded: women. Why is this important? Only 7% of negotiators are women. At the same time, peace agreements are 64% less likely to fail and 35% more likely to last longer if women are meaningfully included. Those are just small examples of what is actually possible if we decide to use AI for building peace and not for waging war. In 2016, an AI system called an AlphaGo defeated the world's #1 player in Go game, which is extremely complicated strategic game that humans spent the last 2,000 years mastering. Now, what was interesting here is that AI did not defeat the best player just by copying the best human moves. It invented completely new strategies that we've never even considered before. And we thought during all this time that we mapped the entire Go game, and we were actually playing in this little corner. So I'm asking, what if this is where we are with peace? If for hundreds of years we've been playing the same moves in dialogue, negotiation, mediation, if we don't create a space for AI for peace projects, initiatives to happen, we may never discover what is actually possible. Now, I know that with this choice comes great responsibility and even big risks of misuse and unintended consequences. The same tools that can be used to track the instances of war crimes can be used to commit wars. The researchers created an AI system to discover new drugs and medicines, and then they tested this system to see if it can also be repurposed for toxins. 6 hours. This is how much it took to create 40,000 molecules for chemical warfare. Not years of research, 6 hours. In similar simulation AI chatbots that are already many countries using on a daily basis escalated conflicts by 250%, completely unprovoked, even suggesting nuclear attack first as the best option, not as the last resort. So we face two risks here. One is the risk of misuse, where our tools become weapons, and the other is the risk of misuse, where over-caution costs lives we could have saved. And the solution is not speeding up or slowing down with the technology. The solution is building with intention, where ethics and peace are embedded by design, not as an afterthought. It's building with inclusion, where communities that are impacted by conflict and by tools that we are building are there sitting at the table and creating those tools, not only AI experts. And it's building with accountability, where behind every decision we use AI for, there needs to be human who is accountable. Now, is AI coming in peace? It is completely up to us to decide. 80% civilian casualties with AI-facilitated targeting systems, or 80% agreement among deeply divided communities with AI-facilitated dialogues. AI for peace is already being built by people who are refusing that AI for war is the only solution. AI scales intention, and our intention is peace. Every algorithm built for peace, every model designed for justice, and every system built for human rights protection, these are the votes for the future I want to live in. What is the future you want? You're making that choice right now. Thank you.